Hello everyone and welcome to the third request comp. Before we get into things, there were a couple that I had to skip because they simply weren't possible as the characters I was asked to do them with. Thankfully the ones that did make it in were a lot more fun to do, and after this video I won't have much left, but I hope you enjoy nonetheless. So it turns out that mission 17 had a secret exit, but this is quite possibly one of the worst levels to put a secret exit in. Trying to find it was basically like trying to find a needle in a haystack with how open the level is. Right before the end of the stage, you want to use the spring to prolong your jump for as long as you can because you have to get to an area below where the normal exit is. Of course, seeing that King Dedede is a Kirby character, he makes this task easier than most other characters. When you get to the platform, you have to fight Lucemon, but you unfortunately still have to deal with the health drain on top of his bullshit AI. At least Palutena let you finish the level. But yeah, it basically becomes a damage race. King Dedede's side smash is actually really effective against player enemies. He swings his hammer, and if it connects while the opponent is on the ground, then he'll hit them 2 more times with the third hit always dealing knockback. Other than that, he also has his side special and down special. The former makes him toss a spike ball that bounces around, while the latter makes him shoot a couple of missiles that slightly home in on enemies. The missiles themselves don't do much damage, but they can be good for getting an enemy off your back. Well, not when they're close to you, but you get my point, right?
Success!
Yeah, I'm ready, Dreamland! Cause it's magic time!
Go! And that's game!
Mission 78 is a 1v3 against Gallantmon, Chaos Gallantmon, and Magnamon. Though it's really more like a 1v6 because they can also summon other Digimon to passively attack you. The main 3 can gang up on you quite easily if they hang out in the middle of the arena, so be best to wait them out on the sides. Shadow's Chaos Spear ability can actually be of use when you're fighting them like this, even with the air version kinda sucking in most other situations. Something I didn't mention last time with Shadow is that you can actually charge your Chaos Spears so that they can have bigger hitboxes. It's usually faster just to fire out uncharged spears, but the knights do tend to get far away when you're not on 2 platforms off to the sides. So that'll give you more than enough time to charge Chaos Spears when you get back onto the main part of the arena. These next 5 are just Master of Craziness as different characters. People seem to really like Master of Craziness for some reason. At least the characters were fun to use though. First up is Yumi from Samurai Kagura. She has the same kit she has in BB Tag, and the way it's handled in this game makes her fun and easy to get into. When she does her basic combo, the finishers form chunks of ice that cover a lot of area in front of her. If you're neutral, then the ice chunk will be tall and skinny, but if you're holding up, then the ice chunk will be short and wide. And then I believe down just spawns some cold gas to actually freeze the opponent, but either way, the attacks come out really fast, so it allows you to mix and match what suns come out, giving way to some rapid damage. Her dash attack throws her fan a short distance in front of her like a boomerang, but it can deal multiple hits, which can be useful against enemies with stamina-based HP. Her neutral special shoots a small ice bullet, her side special makes her do a spin attack, and her up special spawns a tornado. While her down special is also useful, it's one of those things where you're locked into the animation until you hit the ground, so I wouldn't really recommend using it near pits. Now, despite how easy Yumi is, she actually had the hardest time out of the other characters I had to do this mission with. The other characters can damage the hands quicker than she can with just one attack each of them have. Not that I'm complaining. In this case, Yoko Littner from Gurren Lagann has a sniper rifle that can either be fired straight forward or diagonally downwards with her up special. Along with traveling through the whole screen, the bullet can also pierce enemies. Even when you're directly aiming at only one hand, it still somehow damages both of them. She does have an ammo switching mechanic where she can also fire an arrow, but the bullet is so effective that it makes the arrow extremely irrelevant by comparison. Finally, while she's definitely a zoner, I'd also say that she's pretty decent with melee, so you'll see me switch between that and the gun sometimes. Medaka, on the other hand, mostly seems to be close range, but her neutral special makes her shit out colorful balls with a really fast firing rate. Not only does it stun the hands, but it also stalls her in the air, so it's basically a godsend here. Especially when one of the hands do that multi-finger beam attack. I kinda wanna try using her in other missions one day, because I can imagine her being really effective against everything. Other than that, I also like how she looks during her final smash. I know nothing about her lore, but her hair turns pink and she gets noticeably angrier. It's almost like she transforms into a completely different character just to brutalize the opponent. This next character is apparently a Toho OC. She's a bunny girl that uses dark powers, which I must say is metal as fuck. Of course she's pretty busted, but one of her attacks confused me. You see, she's kind of a mix between Ryu, Knuckles, Alucard, and Silver. Her neutral special makes her throw a big dark Hadouken, but it seems to run on a weird kind of cooldown, where you have to sort of rebuild up your dark powers before you can use it again. It's not exactly clear how you build it up though. When she crouches, she gets a little dark flash around her, but that doesn't seem to indicate that it's ready. You can also still use her other abilities, so why even put the dark Hadouken on a cooldown? Speaking of which, her down special makes her transform to a shadow and can move along the ground to get the enemy by surprise. Again, while it's useful for iframes, it won't really help much in actually damaging the hands. Her up smash creates a large dark pillar that deals multiple hits, which are really effective against the hands. Her down smash creates a large AoE burst, and then both her side smash and side special makes her dash towards the opponent, damaging them along the way. Her side special does send her pretty far off the arena, so be careful when you use it. She's fun to use overall, but I can't help but notice that some of her attacks are kinda loud. A bit too loud. The final character for Master of Craziness is Leone. I don't know if it's just me, but she looks very similar to Yang from Ruby, so my brain kinda mixes them up whenever I see her in the Gamepad ad page. I've never watched Akame ga Kill, but this mod definitely gives a good first impression. There's no doubt that she's probably a fan favorite too. I'm sure that we all love a woman that can kill us, right? Jokes aside, her main thing is that she can charge up her specials. Though, her neutral special is probably the only attack you'll really need, just because of how much range it has and how quick it is. If you played Mega Man Unlimited, then it's kinda like Z-Pro's default weapon. Once you get that attack range upgrade, it basically becomes the only weapon you'll use for the rest of the game, because it's just that cracked for what's supposed to be a close range character. Mission 83 has you fighting against Nunamon, and you have to knock it out 3 times. Yuri can make that part easy, but you're on a relatively short time limit, so you unfortunately can't just wait for him to get ran over by the cars. Luckily I'm playing as a character that can take him on at a longer range. TF2 Soldier is extremely simple even as his owner. He mostly relies on his gun, in which using side special or down special shoots a rocket in that respective direction. And you can only shoot 4 rockets before you have to reload with your neutral special. When the meter next to the ammo cow is full, using down special while on the ground will make him blow a trumpet, and give him some sort of buff, but you can't really tell what kind of buff it is. It doesn't seem to give you unlimited ammo, so my next guess can only be that the rockets get bigger explosions. Challenge 84 is against Ness, which sounds easy enough, but the main issue is I can barely see the fucker. You're also on a time limit to take him out, and you're forced to play as Lucas. He's basically an echo of Ness, generally sharing the same moves between each other. You're basically screwed once you're over a pit because his up special doesn't even take him upwards. It just shoots a controllable electric ball, and it's not as good as it sounds. It can deal multiple hits, but it tends to stop once it touches the surface, so it's better just to spam side special. His neutral special charges something up, but like with TF2 Soldier, you can't really tell what's supposed to buff. Finally, Challenge 31 is a recreation of 1-1 from the first Mario game. Luckily, with being a YouTuber for so long, I already know that this song is copyright, so I muted most of the footage. Alice from Mary Skelter is neat, I suppose. I won't have enough time to explain her since the recording is so short, but she kinda reminds me of Dante a little bit. She has Helmbreaker, High Time, a controllable version of Round Trip, and even her sword itself looks like the Devil Sword Sparta. She also has a double trigger that she uses for her final smash, but she can't seem to control it because she goes absolutely bonkers and some other characters have to pop in to inject her with some blood, just to revert back to normal. While I wish I could have actually fought someone with her, I don't particularly mind a change of pace with this mission.
Success!